I could tell I was going to enjoy this hunt. It was just what I had hoped it would be. Beautiful desert landscape. I mean, everything. All the vegetation, the rolling hills, just like in the textbook.
Pretty day.
It just got better. Spotted one up on that hill. See the highest point there?
Yeah.
There's a water tank on the right. If you come down that hill.
Yeah, I got the tank.
Okay, come down the hill into that bigger brush. And there's a dark shadow, and that's a deer's butt sticking out of there. And it's a buck. It's a mule deer buck.
Rack from here. He's definitely a good buck. Obviously, if we come up over that ridge behind him, he's going to be pretty near. But check that wind direction. Pretty much blasting, looks like to me, from that big dead yucca straight towards him.
Well, here's what it's doing right here. See?
Yeah, like I
It's
said.
going like this. Yeah, we're going to have to stay uphill of him.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we can stay downhill either way, but it looks like the best access is going to be coming around this way.
And he's above those yuccas.
Yeah. Gosh, how far do you think that is?
A mile.
I think it's a long mile.
Yep.
Let's back out of here. I just can't get a good score on him with this heat waves hitting everything,
Nope. Long march. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, that's right. Let's go.
After doing a little bit of that desert boogie, and I mean moving, we were cutting the country, we come up on the very hill that buck had just been. We looked, and we looked, and we looked until we couldn't look anymore. There were no more hiding spots. That deer had up and moved.
He must, I'm sure this is where he was at.
Yeah, he had to have taken off. He was within 80 yards at least right here.
He was right down here.
That's why they call it hunting, because we're hunting for him now.
Doesn't that make this fun? Here we think we're going to go tag out a nice one first try. Come again.
God, I was just kind of like, oh, we'll just take a look at him, and he's not even going to let us take a look at him.
And now it's a mystery.
God.
Mr. Personality forgot his orange hat.
Oh no, I'm wondering where's your orange hat?
Sitting back there in my backpack.
Luckily in New Mexico, you don't need your orange hat. There's no orange requirements. So we went on with the hunt. Out of the gate, before the sun even came up, we weren't seeing any deer. We kept looking and looking and looking, and still nothing. And we were up on one of the highest parts of the ranch. So Bob said to me he had seen some other deer across this other divide. He thought it was time to move, and I agreed. Got to this little knoll where the deer were hanging out just days before and started creeping in, looking in these little finger draws. They held plenty of cover. And on this particular drainage, Bob found a buck.
Got him.
Got him?
Yeah, I think he's bed down right here. Okay, right out in front of us, about 30, 40 yards, there's a real small yucca stump just right here.
Yep.
If you look past that yucca stump a little to the left, he's got his head down right now, right down the bottom of the draw next to those big yuccas.
I got him.
Yeah, he's up and feeding. He's not bed down. Man, if you did sneak in here and glass real hard, you'd never see him.
He's hidden in there good. He only looks like a 3x3.
Let's at least get.
There might be
walk
another
in.
bunch.
Yeah, he might have walked into his friends.
All right.
So let's use that horizon there to get in on it.
Let's grab our gear and go.
Got him.
Got him?
Yeah. There's a creosote bush up here. Okay. Right here, there's creosote bush right on the horizon. Underneath those branches, there's a yucca in the background, a green yucca.
I got him.
That's his horn. That's his horn right there. You ought to move forward up there and get prone and see if you can get a position on him. If you give me a hand signal, I can make him stand up with this call.
I'll just do that. If I don't have a shot, because he could be buried in that bush more than we think, all we can see is the antlers.
This is why you get paid the big bucks, Kayser.
I'm getting paid big bucks, except they're always antlers, they're not cash. This is where desert mule deer hunting really gets difficult. When you get down on your hands and knees and have to crawl in on a deer, because you just don't know what's going to be in front of you. To make sure I didn't bump into a rattlesnake, I always follow a rule, something I learned a long time ago in the prairies of South Dakota, and that's push your bow or your gun ahead of you. That way if there's a snake up there, he's going to strike the gun barrel or your bow or whatever. Well, that's a good tip to remember, and I kept doing it the whole way forward. Push my gun ahead, pull myself up. Push my gun ahead, pull myself up. Eventually, I got into a great spot, right underneath a creosote bush. And it was there that I got the final glass, and I could tell that buck was in no position to see me. Talk about decision time. Oh, I hate it when these bucks are just borderline, and that's what he was. He was just a borderline, mature deer. He actually had good mass, but he was just a 3x3 with barely any sign of brow points. I looked back at Bob, he looked at me, I looked at Bob, he looked at me, we did some of this, did some of this. Finally I decided it was early enough in the hunt, I was just gonna back out of there. That buck, Bob had seen him, he thought he had seen that same buck in the same area a couple days before. So I thought, you know what, let's not spook him. Toward the end of the hunt, I may want to come back and put some meat in the freezer with that dude right there.
Oh, dang it. Oh, man, that's what this is all about here. You sneak in there, you just hoping to get that close and not have what he's wanting. We can do better than that here. We can definitely do better. We just got a good solid 4x4 down. I'll be good with that. He should be good with that. That thing looked nice. I'm surprised it didn't have another pointer. That was close enough.
I had to be within 100 yards of him easy.
Oh, you were closer than that. Yeah, when I was behind you and hit him, you were about 112 from where I was, and you were another 30, 40 in front of me.
Okay, that might have been the stupidest thing I do on this hunt.
That was great. Let's just keep looking. Day's young. Let's keep moving.
You bet. With the hunt winding down and some restless nights because I was thinking again, how was I going to find success here on this hunt? I decided that every buck we were seeing was up high. So to get there without the deer seeing us, I decided it was time to kick Bob out of bed early and be there before the sun come up. The spot was perfect. It actually had an elevated viewing platform. A big water tank stood right on the pinnacle of this hill. Hand me my gun right there.
Yeah. You'll have a huge view from up here.
Had a ladder, I could scoot right up it and settle down for a good morning of glassing. All right. Bob, I'll cover this backside. I can't see much over here, so you go cover that. If you see something, sneak back, let me know.
Yeah, got it.
As the sun come up, deer started to move out there on the desert. First thing I saw was a doe. Then I picked out a little buck with a group of does, but still no mature bucks. And I just thought, I just gotta be in the right place. Then a buck told me I had picked the right spot. I looked back over, and right there, coming over the top of the hill, was a buck. He was right in line with a whole row of utility poles. It made for a beautiful setup because when he decided to bed, he bedded not even 30 yards from one of those utility poles. Got one. See those power lines? That buck just bedded him.
All right, good one.
He's not muy grande, but it's that time of the hunt where we're looking for just a nice buck, and that's what that is.
Once we'd spotted this deer, he bed down in an early morning spot. that was not going to last 15 minutes. And he was going to get up and move. So we beat it.
Putting the hustle on, Bob and I tore across the desert as fast as two old guys can. We made good time though. If he moves or something, I'll be crawling, so
I got
give me a whistle.
Okay, watch out for the cactuses. I'll keep my eye on him.
All right. It was belly crawling time. Dropped down, got into crawling mode, same thing. Put my gun out ahead, pull myself forward. Put my gun out ahead, pull myself forward. Luckily, the hill had just enough curvature I could keep easing, looking. Remember, that was the game plan for the entire hunt. And as I got just to the peak of the ridge, where I knew I was safe yet because that buck was far below, oh, talk about a surprise, there he was. He moved. He moved up the hill and into shade. And he was in a perfect vantage point to see everything, including me. Luckily, he didn't see me though. I had enough brush screened in front of me, so when I spotted him, he was still shrouded behind it. Got into position. I could just tell that buck wasn't quite in the best position for a shot. He was bedded for one thing, grass kind of covered his vitals, and when they're hunched up like that, it's not always the best opportunity to take a clean shot. Now I had to wait for the buck to stand up. I had the shot, I had the yardage, I just didn't have the perfect target. Old wheels were clicking. When you're waiting for game, you got a lot of time to think. And what did I think of? The cow trick. I don't think he's gonna get up, Bob. Why don't you just act like a cow or something, get his attention. Just stand up, hump up like a cow. I got back down on my gun, got ready for the shot. And old Mr. Utters there, he started doing his cow trick. It was just perfect. I was afraid I was gonna have to go up and milk him, it was so good. That's a bad image, but anyway, Bob's cow was just the ticket. That mule deer couldn't handle that weird cow any longer, and he stood up in his bed. And before he could take a couple bounds away, I let him have it. What a... I couldn't believe that.
That was just a killer stalk. Again, I mean, 2 days, 2 stalks.
For there, buddy.
That was so nice. My honor to play the role of the cow. That worked just right.
Okay, it's gonna be my honor to show you that long, hard desert mule deer hunt. The end of it right there.
Yeah, I'm putting my hands on his antlers first.
You are? Okay, you gotta beat me over there. Bob and I rushed over and we were quite happy with the buck that was laying up in the brush. There he is.
All right. That was a great shot. Oh man, look at him.
Oh, he's right in the brush.
Nice.
Perfect. Look at the brows on him.
Hey man, that's better than I was thinking he was.
I mean, even desert mule deer maybe are a little different, but from Rocky Mountain mule deer, that's good.
Yeah.
Look at this. You can see his bed. He even pawed out and cleaned it out.
Pawed out his bed and stood up when he saw a cow coming over the horizon. And went right back to bed.
That's the last time he stands up for a cow coming over the horizon. Now the real work starts, like you said. We got to get him out of here.
Yeah, it's just getting hotter. It's just getting hotter. Let's roll.
Let's roll our sleeves up and get to work.
Let's get this thing done.